Okay, so I spent a considerable amount of time in the replay viewer for Overwatch, and while I do admit that it has done a lot for the game, like making VOD reviews easier, or making it catch cheaters easier, or making frag movies and montages a lot easier to make, there's still some room for improvement. So I'm going to be going over a few things that I think the replay viewer in Overwatch needs to still improve at in order to compete with other replay viewers in other games, like CSGO. Number 1, depth of field. This is something that CSGO's replay viewer has. You'll be hearing a lot about CSGO in this video. Basically, it's just the blurry background. It makes videos look a lot more professional, and it isolates the subject. Currently in the replay viewer, there is no control over that, and I would like to see that happen at some point. Number 2, slower slow motion. And this is something that is already possible in the replay viewer, at least for Overwatch League. Here's some footage that I found of the replay viewer going as slow as 0.05 times speed. Meanwhile, the replay viewer that is publicly available only goes down to 0.25 speed. Just having the ability to go even slower is just a nice thing to have. Number 3, mountable cameras. And this one's a little strange, and being honest, it's not as important as the other ones, but here's what I mean. Imagine if you could place like a camera on an object as while it's moving. Like for example, here in CSGO, they kind of tracked it to the gun. Now imagine having like a camera on Reinhardt's shield or on like Orisa's gun. That would be pretty cool. Although being honest, it's probably not that important and it would require a lot of effort to put in. Number 4 is the ability to import and export replays, and this is massive. So let's say an Overwatch pro player approaches me and wants me to make a montage for them. Awesome. I prefer to use the replay viewer because it's a lot easier and better. The issue is that I can't use the replay viewer because the only way for me to access their games in the replay viewer is for me to have played in them. And that's not possible. And this is something, again, that CSGO does, where you can export a replay of like a specific game that happened in CSGO and then share it online. Someone else can download it, they can import it into their game client, and they can view it. So like imagine if you could download like the Overwatch League Grand Finals 2019, the Watchpoint Gibraltar map from like a website, download that replay file and import it into your replay viewer on your own computer. And imagine if you could do this like 3 years after it happened. So they've archived all the replay files. Now granted, I could see there being an issue with like versions. Like imagine if like you download a replay file from 2018, it's like the game back then was played on a very different version. So that could involve some issues, but that is something that would again be, that would be the biggest thing for the replay viewer, the next step at least. Okay, before I move on to number 5, I do want to say that we have merch now. Moss made some really cool designs, and the prices are really low, like $15 for a t-shirt. If you want to get them by Christmas, make sure you order them by the 12th, so what, in like a week or so? So head on over to the merch store, the link is going to be in the description. That's all I have to say. Number 5 is having a customizable HUD, and this is something that's super commented on in the last frag movie.
If there was an option when you go to the replay viewer, if you could leave the crosshair but turn everything else off on the HUD.
And I agree, like it would be really nice to have just the crosshair and the kill feed and maybe some other text. And in order for me to achieve that effect with the World Cup frag movie, I had to do it through I had to manually do it through editing, which is a pain in the butt. And so it would be really nice if you could turn off selective parts of the HUD, like maybe you just want the kill feed, maybe you just want this part or this part or this part, just again, it'd be nice. Number 6 is having variable camera speed. And what I mean by that is how fast the camera moves through space. Like I know you already have normal speed, which is just like moving through, like holding W. Then you have fast speed, which is holding shift and W. And then you have slower speed, which is you holding left control and W at the same time. But that's only 3 speeds. And if you want to go faster than what is already possible, or slower than what is already possible, you can't do that. And what's really weird is that you already, this option is already in the live game replay viewer. Like while you're spectating a game, like a custom game or whatever, you can do that already. You can change the speed of the camera by scrolling the mouse wheel. But for some reason, they haven't implemented that feature into the replay viewer. I don't know why, but it would be really nice to have that. Number 7 is faster loading times. And this is just a quality of life thing. I mean, the replay viewer is still somewhat cumbersome to use, and I heard that on console, you can't skip you can't use that bar at the bottom. So if you want to see something at the very end of the match, you have to just skip forward 20 seconds, wait for it to load, then skip forward 20 seconds, wait for it to load, then skip, and just keep doing this until you hit the end. And that sounds painful. And there's probably some reason why the game has to load a bit every time you skip ahead 20 seconds or whatnot, but it would be nice if that was resolved. Number 8 is just some other miscellaneous bugs, I guess. The only one I can remember right now is whenever Doomfist lands with his Meteor Strike ultimate, sometimes the camera will just pan away to a different area. I don't know why that happens, but like, it's annoying. There's also another bug where after, if you go back 20 seconds multiple times, the camera will just jump to another random part of the map. I'm sure there are a ton of other bugs that people have reported, but at least those are the ones that I've experienced in my time using it, and it would just be nice to have those fixed. And the final one is to be able to have keyframes. And what I mean is keyframing movement, keyframing FOV, keyframing depth of field, keyframing speed, all that stuff should be able to be keyframed. And again, this is something that CSGO can do. Now, if you don't know what keyframing is, it's basically just allowing you to have an extreme, very, very precise amount of control over what's happening. And so it allows you to have very smooth speed ramps, or like you could rotate the camera, and just all these sorts of things. And you can have dolly zooms in Overwatch. And I know some people don't understand the terminology I'm using, but for those of you who know what keyframes are, being able to keyframe stuff in the replay viewer would be amazing. So that's all I have to say. Again, I do understand that the replay viewer probably took a ton of work to put out, and I'm not putting down what it has done for the game, and I understand that, of course, the dev team does have other priorities, but it would be very nice. That's all I'm gonna say. I just wanted to film this video really quick. I'm still in the middle of college final season. I want to keep making videos. Once that's done, don't worry, once that's done, I'll be able to stream and edit videos more, so hang tight for that. And I'll see you later. Bye, guys.